Everybody, welcome to General Session, June 4th, 2019. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Commissioner O'Grady.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we begin with our formal agenda, we do have a guest today. June is Gun Violence Awareness Month, and we have the pleasure of a couple of guests here to talk about Gun Violence Awareness Month. Rochelle O'Connor, please come on up, and if you would like to bring your other guest here, you may, and welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you, President Brown, Commissioner O'Grady, Commissioner Boyce. My name is Rochelle O'Connor, and I'm here as a spokesperson for Central Ohio's Moms Demand Action. Last year, and I thank your staff too, because last year was in the midnight hour that we had the county building lit up orange. Came in just in time. In preparing for my remarks today, I took a peek at what I said last year, and what's very sad is, again, we are on the heels of yet another mass shooting. We've had far too many incidents of gun violence, and now today at a facility, municipal building, much like this, some of my colleagues, Virginia Beach. And I'm grateful, you'll never know how grateful I am, that you're honoring this month and this day, which is always the first Friday in June, to light up this building to honor the lives of those whose lives were stolen by gun safety. By raising awareness, we hope to prevent firearms from ending up in the hands of people with dangerous histories, and we hope to protect our communities from gun violence. The Wear Orange movement, little history lesson here, started in 2015 by the friends of 15-year-old Chicagoan Hadia Pendleton, whose life ended as a result of gun violence. This movement has already connected with millions across our nation. This year, beyond our wildest dreams, 700 events are scheduled in all 50 states. Last year, my notes indicated that we were thrilled to list 300. So we have doubled. That's amazing. Here in Columbus, our local chapter of Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America will be hosting a community day. We'd love you all to come. It'll be at Westgate Park in the Hilltop neighborhood Saturday from 10:30 to 12:30 with the Linda McKinley Marching Band leading a brief march around the park and local elected officials speaking out against gun violence. So today marks the second year now that the county has issued us a proclamation and lighting the courthouse orange this weekend, and this coincides with the 5th year of us honoring the memories of those we've lost to gun violence. You know, for the last 6 years, Everytown for Gun Safety's researchers have been tracking data on incidents of gunfire on school grounds and estimate that 3 million American children are exposed to shootings per year. 3 million per year. What's really horrifying to me, and I know this from talking to school-age kids and from reading the research, these kids today, and we have some in the audience, and I wish they'd just cover their ears so this could go away for them. These kids today expect something to happen, much like what we as kids anticipated a snow day? So you think we've gained some momentum, though? On a happier note, I think we're gaining momentum. I'm not sure what's going to happen here in Ohio with the permitless carry bill or with the red flag bill, but we've had some success in other states, and hooray, I mean this honestly. We have a city here in Columbus that is fighting for gun sense ordinances. If you read the paper, 3 indictments were just handed down. So they're trying at the city level, and of course you guys at the county level doing what you can. Now in our state and across the country, we've elected numerous gun sense champions, and finally, countless cultural and corporate leaders are rising to stand with the vast majority of Americans who know we must do more to end gun violence. With these gains here locally, what we've tried to accomplish, we moms, we've become the target of rants on social media and were props for sidelong glances and dirty looks sitting there at the State House as proponent testimony is provided for these outrageous bills. Because why? We represent the strongest opposition that the gun lobby has ever seen. Now in 2020, I don't have to tell you this, but a presidential election year, you can bet we will be out in full force to campaign for gun sense candidates. I think 14 were added to Congress last year. Now this year our national convention is in our nation's capital. I doubt we're going there for the weather in August. This could be our biggest convention ever, as we could reach our goal of 100 students attending. So we hope to leverage this awareness into real change. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your part in this movement. And so on behalf of others that are here with me today, our local leader, Mara's in charge of the Wear Orange movement this weekend. We've been working hard for that. I just want you to know that we won't rest until this commonly occurring malady of gun violence is a distant memory. Thank you so much for your support, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you would bring your whole team.
Can I say, before you do
Sure,
that, if I could just make a
absolutely.
comment? Ms. O'Connor, I want to thank you for coming down here and your advocacy. I think I've shared this before, and I'm never that comfortable still talking about it, but you probably know my father was murdered when I was 7,
Yeah.
and he was shot and killed by someone in the neighboring community. And I always think about that time as a kid, and I think about, he was a Marine. He did 2 tours in Vietnam, and comes home to his own neighborhood and community, and has his life taken by someone that looks like him, lives in the same neighborhood as him, the same community, and it changes lives, and your advocacy represents the bright side of the nasty part of this conversation. And it's people like yourselves and organizations like yours that make a bigger difference than you think and you know. And so I just want to encourage you. I want to thank you all and just say that your investment is not simply a awareness campaign, as it may seem, but it is about improving the lives of the people that we all encircle one way or another. So from the bottom of my heart, I know I speak on behalf of my colleagues when I say thank you for your advocacy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Rochelle, thanks again for coming down here and bringing this to our attention again. Last year after Parkland, we had a major conversation here at the courthouse and tried to think of the ways that we as commissioners could ratchet this conversation up. Kevin and I both have kids in school, kids who, as you brought up, earlier in your remarks, we thought about snow days. We thought about, things like that when we were kids. Our kids go through training. Maryland's Grant's kids go through training for active shooter. Our kids are taught in school what to do if someone were to come, to their school and create a problem, as we've seen in schools all over the country. We've seen in schools here in Central Ohio with students that bring guns to school, and our kids are taught that and taught how to react to that. You can't get into, as a parent, you can't get into your kids' schools during the day without being buzzed in through locked doors. And so, the fact that you brought this down here to us made us go out last year and find enough orange lights to wrap this building, which wasn't easy, by the way. Finding lights is one thing. Finding enough orange lights to wrap this building. We found them though, because it was important. It's important to bring this issue to the community and make sure folks are aware. And so, thank you to all of you for helping us to make this issue aware to the community. So.
You reminded me that last year after you were here, and it was right after Parkland, my youngest grandson called me, and he was 8 at the time, and he said, "So is this going to happen in Gahanna?" And there was a student that had a gun in Gahanna, and it happened. Not that there was a shooting, but there was a kid and it affects all of us. And I think we do need to be more aware. And your voice matters, and that of your group matters. So thank you. You want to have
They
everybody
get to come up? Okay. Come on, kids.
Kids too.
Come on, kids.
Kids up too.
Yeah, absolutely. Kids too.
Connor O'Connor.
Too bad it wasn't last week. Couldn't got you out of school.
Over here. We'll all gather in the middle here where there's a little more space. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. This would have been a good reason for my own usually the Browns fall for the Browns. Yeah. Orange time. Only 40 rounds. Sorry we missed you. Last week
Oh, I understand.
we were at softball. No, we had
Thank you,
softball.
Kevin, so much.
We were at the softball field here.
Of course you
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Aaron had 3 games that day.
My son was always like, who gets married on a holiday? He did.
He did.
Okay, back onto the agenda. We have the county engineer.
Got a call for the public hearings.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
And we start with a public hearing. Can we have the clerk read the public hearing?
Resolution regarding the prayer of petition to vacate a portion of Canal Street, Village of Shadeville, Hamilton Township, Franklin County, Ohio, granted.
Okay, I would like to open the public hearing for this resolution. Is there anyone here in the audience who'd like to speak on this, at this public hearing? Seeing no one, I would like to close the public hearing and have the clerk read the resolution into the record.
Resolution number 406-19, prayer of petition to vacate a portion of Canal Street, Village of Shadeville, Hamilton Township, Franklin County, Ohio, granted.
Commissioners, my name is Cornell Robertson, Franklin County Engineer. With me today,
Fritz Crozier, Chief Deputy of Engineering.
Commissioners, as stated, this resolution is for vacation of right-of-way along Canal Street, which is north of 665 and west of 23. It's in Hamilton Township. This is the third resolution in the series of 3. And so at this point, there has been no opposition, and we have brought the plat for you to approve and sign, and would recommend you doing so.
We actually briefed this on Thursday morning, and on Thursday afternoon, I had the occasion to drive through Shadeville. Believe it or not.
Yeah, well, nice community.
Yeah.
Good ice cream there, Lombardi's.
I didn't stop. I didn't stop for ice cream, but I did drive through Shadeville. You know. So move approval of resolution 40619.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution 406-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 407-19, Freeman Peterson Incorporated Consulting Engineers appointed to assist the Franklin County Engineer in providing bridge inspection services on various structures, Franklin County, Ohio, in the amount of $78,345.
Commissioners, as you know, we have 357 bridges in Franklin County, and we inspect each bridge every year. This design contract is with Greenman Peterson, and they will help us with those inspections. Would recommend your approval, and we utilize the qualifications-based selection process.
If there's no questions, move approval of resolution 40619.
Second. Or 7.
I'm sorry, 407-19, I apologize.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce, Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution 407-19 has been adopted. Resolution 408-19, awarding contract and approving contract bond to Darby Creek Excavating Incorporated for the 2019 General Drainage Investigation and Repair Service Projects, Franklin County, Ohio, in the amount of $301,730.
Commissioners, this drainage project and resolution is the first of its kind. It's a concept that we came up with thinking of the guardrail maintenance program that we have, as well as the signal maintenance program. The idea behind this project is that it will allow us to more quickly respond to drainage concerns, whether they be in county right-of-way or drainage petition areas. So we're very excited about this concept and have utilized the competitive bid process. We had the bid opening on May 7th, and Darby Creek Excavating had the lowest and best bid.
There's no questions. Move approval of Resolution 408-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution 408-19 has been adopted. Resolution 409-19, report first of the Franklin County Engineer establishing sums of compensation for a portion of the owners of property abutting the Borough Road 1.66 over Plum Road, North Improvement, Jackson Township, Franklin County, Ohio, in the amount of $5,420.
Commissioners, as noted, this next resolution seeks compensation for property owners adjacent to the Borough Road 1.66 over Plum Run North Improvement Project. Project is located in southwest part of Franklin County in Jackson Township and will replace the existing structure over Plum Run. We negotiated with the property owners and compensation was based on appraised fair market value. Pending any questions, I'd ask for your approval.
There's no questions. Move approval of Resolution 409-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution 409-19 has been adopted. Resolution 410-19, report third of the Franklin County Engineer establishing sums of compensation for a portion of the owners of property abutting the Borough Road from Quail Creek Boulevard to State Route 104 project, Jackson Township, Franklin County, Ohio, in the amount of $116,158.
Commissioners, this resolution also seeks compensation for property owners abutting the Borough Road from Quail Creek Boulevard to State Route 104 Improvement Project. Project is also located in the southwest part of Franklin County in Jackson Township and will reconstruct Borough Road and build a modern roundabout at the intersection of Buckeye Parkway. Also negotiated with the property owners, and compensation was based on appraised fair market value. Pending any questions, I'd ask for your approval.
There are no questions. Move approval of Resolution 410-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution 410-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 411-19, approving street, storm, and water improvement plans for the villages at Jefferson Run, Phase 1, Jefferson Township, Franklin County, Ohio.
Commissioners, this final resolution seeks approval of the street, storm, and water improvement plans for the villages of Jefferson Run Phase 1 subdivision. Pulte development is located in Jefferson Township in the northeast part of Franklin County. This will allow the developer to begin installing the necessary infrastructure for the development of the subdivision. Pending any questions, I'd ask for your approval.
There's no questions. Move approval of Resolution 411-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 411-19 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Board of Elections.
Resolution number 412-19, resolution declaring all the Ivotronic voting equipment to be salvage equipment and authorizing the donation of Ivotronic Dre voting machines to Lake County Board of Elections and other counties.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ed Leonard, Director of the Board of Elections. As is stated, this first resolution that we have today relates to authorization for the disposal of the old equipment. They've been fully depreciated by the auditor's office, but as part of the contract for the purchase of the new equipment, we received a trade-in credit from the vendor for $1.7 million plus in some of the equipment that wasn't eligible for state funding. But as part of that, they wanted to charge us for the disposal of the equipment. And we just felt, no, we can handle that ourselves. And Patrick Harris, who's the manager of our warehouse division, worked with Charlie Hoddle from PFM, and we've identified a local company who will be able to dispose of the equipment at no cost to the county. So we end up saving a substantial amount on that. But again, the company Accurate IT will be able to dispose of the equipment in compliance with some of the federal regulations regarding the destruction of media and security standpoints, as well as it relates to sustainable method for the disposal of the equipment. And again, it would be at no cost to the county. This disposal company has been utilized by Meigs County, Defiance, Logan, and I know they're going to be working with Union County and Delaware County for disposal. So they have the experience disposing of election equipment. The other component of this resolution pertains to authorizing donation of the equipment. We had been contacted by Lake County about obtaining some of our Ivotronic equipment because they will not be transitioning to a new system until after the 2020 election, and so they'd like to have some of our equipment donated. And so we've modified, per the suggestion of the commissioners at briefing, modified the resolution to allow us to donate not just to Lake County, but the other 2 counties in Ohio that's still going to be operating on the Ivotronic voting equipment. And so we've made that modification to accommodate for that.
Thank you.
All right, if there are no questions, then move for move for approval of resolution 41219.
Second.
Moved and second voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce, Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 412-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 413-19, declaring all the electronic poll book batteries to be salvage equipment and authorizing their disposal.
And this just relates to our electronic poll books when we originally purchased them and implemented them in 2017, that their power source was a battery pack in the base of the equipment, and that really hasn't operated as well as we had hoped. And the vendor ultimately, we moved to an AC direct connection for powering the poll pads, but we still need to dispose of those. And again, we'll be able to dispose of them using Accurate IT out of Hilliard to do the disposal at no cost to the county. And again, we were able to coordinate, negotiate with knowing the poll pad vendor to provide us the accommodation at no charge. So we were able to transition to an AC, a direct power method for powering the poll pads, again, at no cost to the county. So again, we just need this authorization to be able to dispose of this equipment.
All right, there's no questions, move approval of 41319.
Second.
Moved and second voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 413-19 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners. Appreciate it.
Job and Family Services.
Resolution number 414-19, approving a subaward agreement with the Boys and Girls Club of Columbus Incorporated for summer youth enrichment programming in the amount of $250,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Joy Bivens, Director of Franklin County Department of Job and Family Services. This is the 5th year we funded the Comprehensive Youth Development Partnership between the Boys and Girls Club of City of Columbus. It is the Boys and Girls Club Summer Brain Game Program, which enhances traditional school experiences by incorporating additional enrichment activities that help foster social emotional growth. It is a full-day program that helps nurture academic success, positive character development, and responsible citizenship. It also promotes healthy lifestyle through participating in daily physical activities, a valuable component to the academic structure of Columbus City Schools. The Summer Brain Game program will serve an estimated of 500 youth. Also, the Summer Brain Game will serve will serve 500 youth, but it also will service 4th graders that are operating in 5 elementary schools: Avondale, Devonshire, East Linden, Moeller, and Oakmont Elementary. And Commissioners, I would like to make mention that we believe under the youth goal or the youth theme under the poverty plan, this program supports some of those efforts. Pending any question, we would ask for your approval of this resolution.
If there's no questions, move approval of 41419.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 414-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 415-19, authorizing the execution of a separate sub-grant agreement by Franklin County Children Services, Job and Family Services, and the Child Support Enforcement Agency with the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services.
Commissioners, this resolution will authorize reciprocal agreements with the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services and the Ohio Department of Medicaid, as well as Franklin County Children's Services and Child Support agencies, respectively, to receive state and federal human services funding for fiscal year 2020 and 2021. Pending any questions, we would ask for your approval of this resolution.
If there's no questions, move approval of 415-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce, Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 415-19 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Veteran Services.
Resolution number 416-19, authorizing a contract with Life Care Alliance to provide home delivery meals and emergency care to low-income, chronically ill, and disabled homebound veterans, spouses, and surviving spouses in the amount of $48,900.
Good morning, Commissioners. Nicole McCabe from the Veteran Service Commission, and we are asking for approval to work with a local nonprofit organization that provides health and nutrition services and emergency care services, such as medication pickup and grocery shopping, for older adults, chronically ill adults, and homebound Central Ohioans. And pending any questions, we ask for your approval.
If there's no questions, move approval of 416-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 416-19 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thanks.
Economic Development and Planning.
Resolution number 417-19, adopting the 2019 Housing and Urban Development Annual Action Plan and amending the county's 2018 Annual Action Plan.
Morning, Commissioners. Director James Schimmer from Economic Development and Planning joined at the dais this morning by Mark Paxson, who is our Community Development Administrator. Commissioners, as you know, annually we were required by HUD to adopt, Housing and Urban Development, HUD, to adopt an annual action plan as to how we go through spending our federal dollars. We do that in a transparent process, and I'm going to ask Mark to take you through the resolution this morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
The action plan identifies how the county will be expending those dollars from HUD. We receive the dollars under 3 different programs: Community Development Block Grant, which is to benefit low and moderate income populations; Home Partnership, which is to preserve and construct affordable housing; and the Emergency Solutions Grant, which is to address homelessness. We have adopted a 2015 to 2019 guiding document, the Consolidated Plan. We're currently working on the 2020-2024 plan with the City of Columbus that will be brought forward for you for your input and approval later on in the year. Under this plan, we'll be allocating approximately $2.83 million, $1.5 for affordable housing, $240,000 for public services, $305,000 for economic development, $241,000 for homeless prevention services, $100,000 for fair housing services, $210,000 for planning, administration, compliance, and approximately $173,000 for home funds, again to preserve and construct affordable housing. We respectfully request your approval of this document.
Fantastic. If there's no questions, move approval of 417-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce, Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution 417-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 40418-19, authorizing the economic development agreement with Columbus 2020 to conduct economic development activities on behalf of the Franklin County Board of Commissioners in the amount of $1 million.
Commissioners, as you know, we have a number of contracts that we have with trusted partners. Columbus 2020 is our trusted partner in economic development, and their outcome, this being year 9, has been really tremendous. I think the region continues to rank among the best in the Midwest and the United States because we have followed a collaborative approach, and we continue to follow that. Our regional economic development structure and funding model really extends our limited resources in ways that we can do through a partnership, and 2020 has certainly done that over the last few years. A number of different accolades, but the one that strikes me the most is recently has been that the Columbus region has made Site Selection's 2019 Top 10 Metro list. When a company is out thinking about an expansion, they pick up a magazine, they go to that magazine to figure out who's in the top 10, we're in the top 10, and that has really been a tremendous accolade for us to be able to move forward. Kenny McDonald's here this morning. He is the Executive Director, CEO, of Columbus 2020, and I don't know if you have any questions for him.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let me first just say thank you, and it was a great reminder this morning, the gravity of the decisions you're making that impact the entire county and our region. Thanks for your leadership and your economic stewardship of what we think has now become probably the best jobs program that Franklin County and the region has ever had in its history. And so I wanted to just say, first, thank you for your investment, your personal involvement. Commissioner Brown, your service on our board of directors for the last several years, and the work especially this year as we're now 211 days to 2020. So we're counting days now, not just months, and we're kind of narrowing in. I wanted to maybe touch on a couple of things, and I'll work backwards to the big stuff. Last year was an incredible year here. We are inside of Franklin County. We did 46 projects as a team that our team was directly involved in, working directly with Jim, with the city of Columbus and various cities inside of Franklin County. That accounted for over 4,200 jobs, over $471 million of capital investment invested in Franklin County, over $240 million of invested payroll inside of Franklin County, and over 4,000 jobs were retained by us, actually keeping these companies and growing. The average salary of the reported payroll was just south of it was $59,344, which is a great number. But just reading this morning, there's things that we still have gaps to fill. I think to live comfortably here, we continue to grow. We continue to get to be a more expensive place. We got to continue to work on broad-based economic development and prosperity across the board. A couple of additional things. We've started out this year stronger than last year. So I think by the end of June, we'll have over 5,000 jobs committed across the region. That used to be a great year, and now it's the mid-year report. That's just how far we've come. Now, certainly we're in a good economy, but without your investment, we couldn't leverage it for the benefit of the citizens of Franklin County. And then finally, just let me say that we're extremely focused on the future. In particular, not just continuing what we're doing, but focusing on actually how to broaden prosperity across the entire region. With 11 counties, 29 cities, rural locations, urban locations, challenged neighborhoods, families feeling anxiety from everything from artificial intelligence to all the issues you talked about this morning, from veterans coming back from service to gun violence in our neighborhoods and stuff. We've got a lot of work to do to actually raise the bar there and close more gaps. And I want to thank the county for their personal contribution to us thinking about our strategy. First, through the economic development strategy that Jim has been leading with your advisors, and through Joy's work and my participation in the Kirwan Institute, and with Franklin County looking at poverty and how it's actually moving and changing in our region. And what can we do to marry economic development efforts with that to not only report great gains, but maybe report some of the numbers going the other direction that we need to close disparities and stuff. So we're very focused on what is now the next 10 years, and we think we can be the most prosperous place in the country, which is a subtly bold goal for our region. So thank you again for your leadership.
Kenny, I want to just thank you and the other board members of 2020 as we're doing the strategic plan for the next 10. Hearing and talking about the inclusiveness of the economy now, where we were trying for the past 10 years to really catch up and do the work of bringing businesses in and retaining what we had. Now focusing on the inclusiveness is so important. As you've heard me say so many times in those meetings, we have people in our community who haven't had the opportunity to work. We don't always need to go out recruiting people, we have them. And I so appreciate
Thank you.
this next 10 years are going to be so good because we can focus on what we need to and close that gap.
It's the end of the beginning. So there's been
Yeah.
a lot of work to get to this point where we have a lot of capacity built now to put to work. And so I appreciate your leadership in those efforts.
Well, it's been an amazing, decade so far, and, the accomplishments are tremendous, the number of jobs and the amount of work that's been done. So focusing forward and focusing on prosperity, and it's been a great partnership, but I look forward to the partnership going forward. So
Thank you.
we have a lot of work to do, and I know you know about the work that we've been doing, and here as it relates to the poverty work that we've been doing, and thank you for your being a part of that over the last many months, and so we're looking forward to partnering going forward. If there's no further comments or questions, I'd like to move for approval of Resolution 41819.
Second.
Moved and second voting, Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce? Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Resolution number 418-19 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Purchasing.
Resolution number 419-19, approving the updated purchasing policy regarding the requirements for all purchases made under the authority of the Franklin County Board of Commissioners.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Good morning. Megan Perry Balanier, Interim Director of the Purchasing Department. This resolution requests the Board's approval of updates to the Board of Commissioners purchasing policy. There are two administrative updates, which include a change to a standardized note for agency users and the insertion of a request for quote form that was previously referenced in the policy and will now be included as an exhibit. Of particular significance is the next update, which involves the addition of language that more fully captures the Commissioner's current efforts to support supplier diversity and equitable vendor participation in procurement opportunities. Specifically, a portion of the policy's preamble has been replaced with an inclusion statement. The inclusion statement reads as follows. The Franklin County Board of Commissioners recognizes the community benefit of creating equal opportunity for all vendors to participate in the county procurement process. The advancement of economic inclusion improves equity, economic mobility, and quality of life for all Franklin County residents. Accordingly, the Commissioners will make a good faith effort and encourages others to utilize small and emerging business enterprises and diverse suppliers in all phases of procurement and contracting, including formal competitive bidding, multiple quote process, and purchase orders. Pending any questions, I recommend approval of this resolution.
There's no questions. Move
I was going to make a comment.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, Director, thank you for putting this forward. I know Deputy Administrator Smith has also been very much a part of this conversation, and I just wanted to point out that this really does speak to the values of our organization. The county is not just some government entity that delivers services. In many ways, we have a personality. We have the values that the public expect us to illustrate and demonstrate at times, and this is that statement. The only thing I'll add to this, though, is that it's one thing to have a statement in our policy. It's another thing to live by that. And so we've got work to do to ensure, and we're doing a great job, by the way. I really do. If I were to be critical, it'd be hard to be critical to see the effort that has been put forward in the couple years that I've been here, and the push for that advocacy and inclusion by my colleagues. I mean, it's a very impressive thing, but it's something that we have to continue to live. And the way I've become familiar with the county's process, purchasing is sort of the conduit to this, but we got to make sure that every agency really understands this embedded value of the BOC. And as they engage with vendors, engage with contractors and so forth, that this is a principal and core part of their efforts and strategy and the lenses to which they look at. And I think that's the tricky part. And so while I have all the confidence in the world in you and our administration, it's really a great connecting point to see those that come together with the values of this Board of Commissioners and through your agency and the various agencies. And so we will just have to work hard to make sure everybody really understands that this is a value of ours as an organization. And so I trust that's the case and look forward to being a part of that.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I think the placement right in the preamble really sets the tone for the policy at large. And to your point, which I appreciate, is we're constantly looking for ways to partner with the other agencies within the county to grow our efforts and to identify other opportunities to engage with the SCBE community.
Yeah. I would add one other point, if I may, Madam President, and that's much of these same folks are local folks, by nature of the small business element of it.
Correct.
And so we should keep that in mind too, that this is a local connection for job and investment in the recycling of resources that are in our system too.
Without a doubt. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll second.
I didn't actually make the motion, but Ken, did you have anything you wanted to?
President Brown, Commissioner Boyce, Commissioner O'Grady. Yes, I'd like to make one quick comment, Kenneth Wilson, County Administrator. Commissioner Boyce, very much appreciate those comments, and rest assured that County Administration, along with your agencies, are focusing on new ways to exhibit action as far as our outreach into the community. This past Friday, we had the first of what's called Coffee and Conversations. We had a number of local vendors. We met at the Urban League Empowerment offices, and we led off with our purchasing department had representation, Child Support Enforcement, and the Sanitary Engineer's Office. And we had, I think, 20 plus local vendors present to talk about how to do business with Franklin County and to hear some of their comments and concerns. And we have 2 more scheduled for June and July. So we will continue to increase our efforts to reach into the community.
All right, if there's no other comments or questions, move approval of Resolution 41919.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 41919 has been adopted. Resolution number 420-19, resolution authorizing a first contract modification for 33 providers for Consolidated County Transportation Services, lift, non-lift, and escort.
Commissioners, this resolution seeks approval of contract modifications for all 33 providers of our Consolidated County Transportation Services. This is a no-cost modification to update the zip code mileage chart, which is used to standardize mileage between zip codes for billing purposes. This resolution also requests that the board authorize the county administrator to sign these modifications. And as these types of modifications may be required from time to time, the resolution further requests that the board delegate authority to the county administrator to approve future non-monetary modifications and extensions. As is required, any modification or extension that includes a request for additional funding will be presented to the board via resolution. Pending any questions, I recommend approval of this resolution.
If there's no questions or comments, move approval of 42019.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 420-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 421-19, approving purchases for various Franklin County agencies in the amount of $7,042,481.86.
And Commissioners, our third resolution seeks approval of 102 purchase orders for which the county auditor has pre-certified available funding. This resolution includes 20 eligible POs totaling approximately $164,000. These are defined as POs in which small and emerging enterprises are likely to participate. Of these POs, 9 were awarded to SEBEs totaling $77,239.08, which is 45% of the eligible PO volume and 47% of the eligible PO dollar value. Pending any questions, I recommend their approval.
There's no comments or questions. Move approval of 42119.
Second.
Moved and seconded and voting, Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Resolution number 421-19 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Board of Commissioners.
Resolution number 422-19, reappointing Stephen S. Francis Esquire and McAuliffe Williams III to the Franklin County Parks and Recreation Board of Trustees.
Good morning, Commissioners. Eric Janis, Deputy Administrator. Pending any questions, would recommend approval of these reappointments.
There's no questions. Move approval of 42219.
Second.
Moved and seconded and voting, Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Resolution number 422-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 423-19, appointing Jerry Gildo to the Workforce Development Board pursuant to the requirements of the Workforce Investment and Opportunity Act, 2015.
Commissioners, this appointment is a mandated category of vocational rehabilitation and is a joint appointment with the City of Columbus. Pending any questions, would recommend approval of this resolution.
There's no questions. Move approval of 42319.
Second.
Moved and seconded and voting, Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Resolution number 423-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 424-19, appointing and reappointing members to the County Hospital Commission of Franklin County, Ohio.
Commissioners, this resolution makes the reappointment of Thomas Stewart to the Hospital Commission and the new appointment of Robert Falcone to the Commission. Pending any questions, would recommend approval.
If there's no questions, move approval of 42419.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Resolution number 424-19 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Are there any journalizations?
Yes, I have 3.
Okay.
Case Annex 11-19, an expedited Type 2 annexation petition, Annex-11-19, was filed with the Franklin County Economic Development and Planning Department on May 28, 2019. The petition is requesting to annex 0.6 plus or minus acres from Madison Township to the City of Columbus. The petition will be considered by the Board of Commissioners on July 2, 2019. Site 5181 E. Bright Road, PDI number 180-000159. Case number Annex 1219, an expedited Type 2 annexation petition, Annex 1219, was filed with the Franklin County Economic Development and Planning Department on May 29, 2019. The petition is requesting to annex 1.033 plus or minus acres from Perry Township to the City of Columbus. The petition will be considered by the Board of Commissioners on July 2, 2019. Site 2492 West Dublin Grandview Road, PDI number 213-000246. Case Annex 13-19, an expedited Type 2 annexation petition, Annex 1319, was filed with the Franklin County Economic Development and Planning Department on May 30, 2019. The petition is requesting to annex 0.905 plus or minus acres from Jackson Township to the City of Grove City. The petition will be considered by the Board of Commissioners on July 2, 2019. Site South Big Run Road, PDI number 160-001043.
Thank you. With no further resolutions or journalizations, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.